The French government put the rule in place over concerns about the high number of coronavirus cases circulating in Britain. French nationals, their families and residents of France will be allowed to enter, but will have to observe a minimum self-imposed quarantine of 48 hours. The UK recorded over 88,000 new COVID-19 infections on Thursday, another record-breaking figure, and a leap of almost 10,000 on the previous day. Natalia Puzarev, an MP for the governing En Marche movement, gave us the reasons behind the decision.
We are very cautious about the way the Omicron variant is spreading all over Europe, of course, but mainly in the UK, I think, where it reached 40% of the cases. At the moment, France is only concerned by 240 cases of Omicron variant, but it's spreading very quickly. And we are very concerned about the fact that our hospitals could become overwhelmed by the end of the year. There are some estimation that we could reach 4,000 persons in critical care by the end of the year, which is really high. Of course, we have another policy when it comes to European member states. We have a consultation process where we will avoid by all means to close our borders. It's not the case, unfortunately, for the EU. So the travels, cross-channel travels, will be limited to compelling situations. Of course, we expect the British residents in France to be able to enter the country, and the French nationals, the students, for instance, in the UK will be able to come back as well.
Well, for more on that French travel ban, I'm now going to be joined by Tig Enright, who's outside St Pancras in London. Tig, talk us through what these travel restrictions really mean and what reaction has there been in the UK?
Well, what it means is that if you are a Briton who'd hope to visit friends or family over Christmas time, you can't. If you simply wanted to go for a winter holiday, perhaps to go skiing, for example, you can't. And even if you wanted to go for work reasons too, the vast majority of professional reasons are not deemed to be compelling. So it is really a return to the bad or sad old days of a ban on non-essential travel, essential travel only. In fact, it's even tougher for Britons because they were previously allowed to travel for work purposes the last time there was such a ban like this in place. Now, truck drivers, for example, are exempt, so the British government's relieved on that front. It should not affect the supply chains between Britain and the continent. And of course, it does not apply if you are a French citizen, a French resident, or their families, or indeed if you're an EU citizen who simply wants to pass through France on your way home. For those people, though, who can still go to France, there'll be tougher testing requirements for them and at least 2 days of quarantine when they get there. But you can just imagine the disappointment among the people who have had plans to go to France and have had to cancel those plans. The UK government's response, I would say, is not terribly dramatic, but they have suggested that Paris's decision is pretty pointless when you consider that Omicron, as they put it, is in Europe and is already spreading fast there too.
Well, the bad and sad days coming back doesn't sound like a good thing, Tig. Now, it's no secret, of course, that the UK and France are at loggerheads over migration, over fishing. The new restrictions aren't going to help relations. Can we see the UK perhaps retaliating?
I think that's unlikely. You're right, though. It certainly can't help smooth over these difficult times. At the time of the announcement, Downing Street said that there had been no conversation between President Macron or Prime Minister Boris Johnson about it. Keep in mind, this time last year, we had a similar response from France when the new, at that time, new UK variant, subsequently renamed Alpha variant, became the latest variant of concern. As for retaliation, a spokesperson for Boris Johnson's office has said no. And actually, in the last few days, the UK has actually relaxed its own travel restrictions. It's removed hotel quarantine for people coming from the highest risk countries because, to the earlier point which was made by the government here, because Omicron is already here, there's little point in having these tough restrictions in place.